Canada got itself into a very tight spot the last 20 years because it gave up on belief in markets and it gave up belief in competition.
Canada's financial sector is at a crossroads. Fintech, open banking, and digital-first tools are transforming how money moves, but should Canada follow global models or should we design our own? Here to share his insights, please join me in welcoming to the stage distinguished author, advisor, and economist, Anders Spence.
Well, good morning. Canada has, by far, the most expensive banking system in the industrialized world. Every year, our banks trim about 8% off of a $3 trillion economy. It's more than the US, it's more than the UK, it's more than Australia, and it's more than Europe. What we do know is that Canada's banks form an oligopoly. And countries that embrace competition do better than those that don't. They charge a higher price than they otherwise would, and they provide less quantity. The Canadian Federation of Independent Business does a survey about every 4 years or so, and they show that in 2022, the median amount of bank financing for small and medium-sized businesses was a mere $156,000. This is for a sector that generates half of Canada's GDP, and if you look at how much Canada has fallen behind more competitive economies, a good comparator economy is against Australia. It's a resource-based economy, banking system very similar to ours, and their per capita income is 20% higher. The Canadian banks have a license to be banks, granted by the federal government. It knows our banking system has many, many pain points. Why do they tolerate what is an extended period of underperformance in a very expensive banking system? Is it because our banks are leaders in financial innovation? Do they offer a state-of-the-art payment system? No, they don't. We don't have open banking yet in Canada because we haven't built the governing infrastructure and the payment system is not sufficiently developed. We do not yet have a real-time instantaneous settlement, a necessary condition for fintech to really show its promise. The Brazilians conceived of and implemented their real-time payment system, PIX, in a mere 18 months. And so we have to ask ourselves the question, why are we so tolerant of oligopoly? The innovators in this room, the future seers, the entrepreneurs, you are all bubbling and pushing that change. But of course, the fact of the matter is that in Canada anyway, we seem to block change from the top. Let's talk a little bit about how this got done in the UK. The UK introduced open banking in 2018 because it emphasized efficiency and competition. The UK in 2019 had 1 million users. By 2024, that was up to about 19 million. It has done exactly what was expected. Prices have declined, but more importantly, the door is open to a wider take-up of credit because now very small micro companies can finally begin to get access to credit. We are getting ready for open banking to come to Canada. Of course, the banks are afraid. They're very afraid. It's a lot of dough, isn't it? 8% of Canada's GDP. And you innovators, the entrepreneurs, the untapped resource of Canada sitting in this room want a share of that 8%, but you don't want to keep it for yourself. You're willing to share it with consumers. And boy, in this moment of existential peril in Canada, we need all the disposable income we can get. The Italian book, The Leopard, the aristocrat said, for things to stay the same, they have to change. Our banks know things have to change. They want things to stay the same. They want to preserve the status quo. They've slowed things down. The government of Canada has helped them slow things down, much to their discredit, but the banks are gonna have to sharpen their game. The banks are merely just one industry that contributes to this woeful economic outcome that we observe in Canada over the last 20-odd years. Canada needs to change, but it needs to change for the better. Institutional change comes when the winds shift. And in the last 15 to 20 years, Our institutions, our oligopolies, and our government have lent into that wind, but has now become a gale. The embrace of competition is a welcome development. Canada needs to change. We need commitment to competition. We need to show that there are consequences for anti-competitive behavior. But above all, if we want to see our new tomorrows, and if we don't want tomorrow to be like yesterday, we need to have leadership from the Prime Minister and the Finance Minister. And with that, I bid you all the best for the day, and thank you very much for your attention.